Hi class, I hope you had a good week. This week we're gonna get busy with starting to talk about our next assignment, our next major essay, which is going to be an inquiry essay. And so, to inquire just means basically to investigate. So, what we're going to do, since this is a writing class, we're going to investigate an argumentative topic, and then we are going to basically argue for both sides. So again, unfortunately, you don't get to take a position. You just have to objectively present how each side of a topic would argue their point. And so basically, the way that this is going to go down is you're going to research a topic. So let's say capital punishment, even though you're not allowed to write something like that, you are going to find the reasons, the two strongest reasons for each side of the topic, and then you are going to support those reasons by doing research, by using our databases, and you're going to use a mixture of case studies and statistics and direct quotes from reliable sources to help support those arguments. So next, I'm just going to kind of go right through the assignment sheet for the inquiry essay, so you know exactly what you're stepping into when you guys start writing this thing, or when you want to start researching this thing. So the first thing you're going to want to do is have a really good title. I would prefer there to be some kind of subtitle involved with that. But after your title, you're going to have two case studies. I know we talked about this in the past, but a case study is like a real life example. So you need a case study if we're using capital punishment as an example, for capital punishment to support it, why we need it, and then another case study, real life example, why we should get rid of it. And so that's kind of going to be like the hook. It's going to be like get your readers excited. And so like if you've ever looked at a journal, I mean they can be terrible, but like some of the best essays and journals, they'll start with some kind of anecdote. If it's a professor, he talks about a class that he had or something like that. And the reason is because people like stories. And so like a case study is a story. It's like a real thing that has happened. So I think this is a really good way to start a research paper, is with some kind of story. This time you're going to use two stories, and they're going to be case studies, real life examples. And so after you supply us with those two case studies, again, you're going to be basing this off of research that you do, you're going to kind of provide the history of the topic. What kind of terms do we need to know about it that we wouldn't already know? What is the history of the topic, and what are the current laws, and what is the current context of the topic too? What's happening in the courts if it is in the courts? Okay, and so after you provide all of that kind of introduction, yours is going to be about 3 paragraphs long. You're going to end with some kind of controlling question, and that controlling question is basically your thesis statement for this essay. But instead of having that capital punishment should be banned kind of thesis statement, and since this is an inquiry essay, you are going to be asking the question. So like I'm going to keep it as simple as I possibly can. Is should capital punishment be banned? That would be like not a great question, but it would be the question that you are going to investigate, and it's what you are inquiring about. After you provide that controlling question, then you transition to supporting each side of the argument, and you're going to have at least. I'm going to say you are going to have 2 reasons for and 2 reasons against it. Those reasons will be right up in your topic sentence, right? Like we looked at in our last essay. So the first reason that capital punishment should be banned is blank. And then you're going to use only sources from our database and newspapers, or journals outside of our database are also fine, but not random websites and other such things. But you're going to support those reasons with information from our database and journals and newspapers too. And you're going to have at least 2 citations per reason. So that means you're going to have at least a quote in there. You're going to have a paraphrase. You're going to paraphrase in there. You're going to cite some stats. And you're going to do that for each of your reasons. So it'll be a combination of different types of evidence. And then after you provide the 2 reasons for one side of the argument, then you're going to transition to the 2 reasons for the other side. Again, clear topic sentences. And then using the research that you've done, you are going to supply evidence for those reasons too. And like the amount that you supply for both should be the same. You should have like if you have a 300 word paragraph for the one reason, you should have a 300 word paragraph for the other side too. This is meant to be an equal opportunity for both sides to make their strongest cases. And that's why you want to have the strongest reasons for both. You're not taking a position on this. You don't get to say what you feel about it until the very, 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 very end. And then after you provide those two reasons, then you're going to just go into your conclusion. In your conclusion, you're going to analyze both sides of the topic, and then, if you want, you don't have to. You're going to tell us what your position on the topic is and how the research led you there. And so, ideally, you're not going to write about a topic that you are already heavily invested in. Instead, you're going to hopefully you can find something out, and maybe you can come to some kind of logical conclusion by the end of this whole thing. Okay, so as far as length, this is going to be 4.5 to 6 pages long, 1,300, 1,800 words or thereabouts. It's going to be worth a lot of points, 200 points. You need to use at least 8 sources. And so it should be from the library database or a newspaper source. Again, edit for grammar, spelling mistakes, MLA mistakes. We will be covering some more MLA stuff and this week and the weeks ahead too. And that is it. Okay, I will talk to you when I show you what this would look like if you outlined it. Okay, bye-bye.